Hey, and welcome to our podcast show. And this is the summary of COMPUTEX 2023. So, as you see, well, this is the first time after 4 years after the pandemic. This is the first show at Taiwan, and what a show has been. Lots of new stuff on display, and it was great to see all our friends at COMPUTEX. So, Stephen, how was your experience for the first COMPUTEX after 4 years?
It was great to see everyone again. I think that was the most important thing about the show is that it is a meeting of people in person again. I think that was super important because a lot of these relationships are forged in person, and after the pandemic, it's clear that trade shows will never go away because human connection is so much more important. But I want to take it back to you, Winston, because last week we had a prediction show, or rather not a prediction show, but a preview show of COMPUTEX, and I wanted to know. Because you wrote most of that rundown because I didn't really care too much about any of the products. What did you actually see from that show? Let's take it back to what we thought we would see and be excited about, and what we ultimately let down by, or what we were excited about.
As you know, there was no trade shows or COMPUTEX shows or anything like electronic shows for the last 3 years. So all the releases for the past, say, 2 years, GeForce RTX 40 series were on display. That's fine. That's all good. There was a Radeon's RX 7900 series. That's all on display as well. AMD launched their RX 7600 in kind of response to NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 4060s series, and that was interesting. People, I think they were, for the game. This is a gaming card for under, $300. That's not bad.
Yeah.
1080p gaming. It's a good price. 8 gigabytes. That's fine. But I think performance-wise, it may perform still below a GeForce RTX 4060 or 4060 Ti. Other, products included the motherboards. The Intel Z790, they have the refresh because Intel are not launching their new chipset, so they have the refresh.
Before we get into Intel motherboards, AMD. So this new GPU, the 7600 series, do you just take your old card out and put it in?
That's right.
Okay, so no fancy connector, nothing. They did away with that. It's still a enthusiast upgrade, in-place upgrade, rather than what a certain end company is doing, and we'll talk about them later, probably.
So it's a RX 7600. It's just a one PCIe 8-pin power connector that goes straight in. Again, it's more mainstream gaming, 1080p gaming, kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's entry level, but more kind of mid-range. Again, it's affordability is the main kind of factor here. So under $300, I think that's a good deal. But again, it competes kind of just below the GeForce RTX 4060. So that's what it is.
So it's an affordable card that will be available for gamers that want to be able to game at that level versus what was happening the last couple of years for the pandemic, where we could buy nothing, and that even low-end cards were actually double their MSRP, which is incredibly it's extortion.
Yeah, that's right. And also the new power supplies, they're going from what used to be 750, 850. Now we have 1,000 watt, 1,002. They were displaying 1,600 watt power supplies, 2,000 watt power supplies. I mean, that's just crazy, right? That's just nuts.
That's a lot of power, and for folks at home, you probably are on a laptop or something like that. This is for PCs. This is for PC hardware.
That's right.
So the cases that we have, you're not talking your Dell or your HP. These power supplies will not fit in there because they use proprietary power supplies. These are the ones for enthusiast builds where you're building a brand new system from scratch. Because I know that some of you out there are like, what the heck is a power supply? Do you plug it into the wall? Yes, you plug it into the wall, but it's not like the one that you plug your phone into. It's not going to charge your phone faster. So this is what we're talking about here. And the graphics cards, which everyone understands that it can make your gaming better. It can also help you with your creator stuff, because we've been starved for GPUs for so long that a lot of us are rendering videos at twice the amount of time, and now we can finally look forward to this upgrade.
The GPU is the most power-hungry part of your PC. Interestingly, I was at the NMAX booth, and they showed me, I'm sure FSP and all the other power supply manufacturers also include a kind of a demo or a prototype, a power supply including the new 12VO Intel standard.
Okay, we have no idea what that means. Tell us about that, and why is it important to 80% of the population?
It is important because it is now Intel, you see the energy prices go up around the world, right? So people are kind of aware of the energy crisis, the high cost of energy. So the 12VO standard from Intel is something new. I guess a couple of years ago, Intel kind of kind of just released it, but now power supply manufacturers are now implementing it, and next couple of months, maybe in Q3, 4, or even next year as well, they're going to be releasing new power supplies with this new 12VO standard. What it is normally we have the 24-pin ATX power connector for your motherboard.
Yep.
Now it's going to be 10-pin.
Okay.
So the new 10-pin standard would be the new Intel VO standard.
Okay.
And that gives you a same amount of kind of power for the board, but also it becomes energy efficient.
Okay.
So the power supplies, if it follows the 12VO standard from Intel, it will be power efficient, therefore uses less power, right?
Okay.
And therefore, of course, that equates to cost savings for the end user.
All right. So
Yeah.
let me ask you: is this something that is retrofittable into normal? Like I can see that 10 into 24. No.
You need the motherboard manufacturers will now have to implement the 10-pin ATX power connector for these new boards
So
to
this
support
is
the new.
technically not something that we would probably, most consumers, 80% of the people out there that we will be talking, that we're talking to right now, I am your friend, Stephen, and I'm going to make you understand what the heck he's talking about. We will not even do any of what he's saying for the next 5, maybe even 10 years, depending on how long we keep our
I would
PCs.
say next year they will start implementing it. You will see motherboards with the new Intel spec.
But we're not going to upgrade our PC that
Not
we just
right
bought
now.
yesterday.
No.
Right. So
But
this is not.
The whole point of COMPUTEX is to show people something. The new standards are coming, so
Okay.
be prepared. That's what they're saying, I think.
So if we're holding on to an old system that's already 2, maybe 3 years old, and it's time to upgrade because of work or whatever, look for something with this standard on. Maybe hang on to that system just a little bit longer until you can upgrade.
At least in COMPUTEX, they are showing you these new standards, and they're saying prepare for it, right? Rather than some big company,
Right.
oh, we're going to produce a new graphics card with a new 16-pin, bang,
Okay.
there you go, and you're stuck, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? But at least COMPUTEX, all the manufacturers are showing off these new standards, and then hopefully over the next couple of years, you'll see those new standards in place.
Okay, well that's very good to know because without clarifying that, I'm sure that all of you would be probably tuning out. There's probably going to be a drop in our graph right here that says that I don't understand. Sorry, guys. So. Thank you for letting us know about that, and hopefully that's clear enough for you that if you do have a desktop PC, you love PC hardware, you love gaming, the Radeon, the new motherboard standard are some things that you will be looking forward to, maybe even upgrading outside of your laptop because laptop prices have become very expensive. Just in Taiwan alone, I just discovered the laptop that I purchased recently, a Gigabyte Aero 16. It was actually significantly, almost $1,000 cheaper at home than it was in Taiwan, where everything is manufactured.
Yeah, but you had a good deal.
it
You had
was a
a last
phenomenal
year's X-Stock deal.
Yeah.
Because now they're releasing the new versions of your laptop.
Yeah, but that's not true though, because on PC Home, which is the local Taiwanese supplier, their mail order supplier, it's like an old NCIX or Canada Computers where we come from, Newegg. They were listing my specific model, the
were they?
2022 model for 26 on sale.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
so that's why I knew immediately that I had to buy it at home for $17.99.
Yeah, he had a good deal. He always gets good deals.
It was a fantastic deal. The new version, however, is coming out at slightly more money, but it's I don't think it's as good of a deal because it will only be marginally faster.
Well, you're getting the 13th gen. Yours is 12th gen,
Mine's
right?
12.
They're getting the 40 series graphics card. You're getting the 30 series graphics card.
Right.
20%
import.
Yeah.
20% is not worth $900.
Yeah.
Period. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on here. So what else did we see that
said
was from last week?
Well,
from your predictions,
That's right.
what else did we see?
Intel boards are the same. There's no new chipset. There's no new processor. So they kept the new the same Z790 boards. What's interesting though is the motherboard manufacturers now implementing new Wi-Fi 7 on their boards.
Okay.
So Wi-Fi 7 new standard, I guess. We're seeing routers coming through now with Wi-Fi 7. Performance difference, I have no idea because I'm still using Wi-Fi 6. I haven't had a Wi-Fi 7 to play with, but I think it's more stability, more security. Now security is a big concern, so Wi-Fi 7 includes all of that. I think it gives you more kind of range as well. So you can have one Wi-Fi 7 router to feed the whole room, whole house, upstairs, downstairs, across walls, and all sort of kind of stuff. So I think we'll see more Wi-Fi 7 products coming next.
I think this is something that will only benefit you if you have a lot of smart home devices. I know some people don't have any smart home devices, and I know some people like myself that have at least 70 light bulbs in my house that are Wi-Fi enabled on the Philips Hue network. So I will need something like that maybe down the road because I have so many devices in my home. But if you're in a 2-person suite or something like that, I don't think this is a technology that benefits you, and I don't think that you even have to worry about this. But the standard is out there. It's going to be the latest thing. So if you buy a new laptop or if you buy a new motherboard, look for at least 6E.
Yeah,
7
right.
if you can get it at the same price.
And of course, Wi-Fi 7 is compatible with all the Wi-Fi 6 and Wi-Fi 5, all the older generation of connectivity devices. It's just that means if you have a Wi-Fi 7 router, Wi-Fi 7 device, you get the best performance and benefits.
Yeah, lots of backwards compatibility. Maybe a little bit sketchiness with the older 802.11 bands that are 2.4 gigahertz.
The old ones.
Because we've noticed that with smart home devices that they just simply, some of them just simply do not work. So pay attention to that. But like moving forward, Wi-Fi 7 seems to be the game to go for. Now, what else were we looking forward to last week?
Yes.
That manifested itself at the show this week?
Yeah, PCIe 5.
Okay.
It's all about PCIe 5 now. So existing PCIe 4, don't get me wrong, good performance. I'm still using PCIe 4 devices, right? PCIe 4 devices include the SSDs and things like that. PCIe 5, new one, it runs so hot, right? So you need extra cooling. So you notice that they'll go over like 10,000 megabytes per second, 12,000 megabytes per second. These are PCIe 5 speeds, right?
Okay.
So with that speeds, you need extra cooling. So I've seen some SSDs with water-cooled heat sinks and fans and things like that. Shannon from Patriot has a super thin heatsink with a built-in fan, and apparently that got awards for it, right? Because it had a super thin heatsink, it had a built-in fan in there. Don't ask me how, and that was a pretty decent product. They also AData has the a water-cooled kind of heatsink. Built-in water cooling with fans, so that's crazy. They were getting speeds like 12,000+ megabits per second, so that's interesting as well. So you'll see probably PCIe 5 SSDs coming through this year. They have been announced like last year. We've seen a couple of products like prototypes and samples over the last few months, but for mass market, it'll probably be Q3, 4 before we see them.
So basically what we're talking about here is the CPU has a number of lanes inside, and PCIe 5 is the latest standard that actually increases the bandwidth. You won't see this in many notebooks currently because it's something that runs a little bit too hot based on what Winston is describing. So the SSD drive inside your notebook is this wafer thin thing that's like a stick of gum. Now imagine if that had to have a heatsink on it and a fan. That's what we're talking about right here. This is probably going to be something that mobile users will probably not see in their devices, at least not at the maximum speeds for quite some time because of the heat that's generated. But if you're an enthusiast or if you're a PC builder or if you're a gamer and you want the latest thing, including maybe the 12-volt VO standard in the next couple of years, and you're looking forward to all of that, this might be something that you're looking forward to. But for now, PCIe 5, that spec is even faster than many of the graphics cards out there. It will never saturate the standard. So you're probably okay in your old system upgrading for quite some time.
Right. Another thing is also we're seeing memory compatibility kind of the main talking point as well, but also the capacity. So if you most systems out there either 16 gig or 32 gig RAM, right? Yeah. We're now seeing motherboards able to support 24 gig, 48 and 96 gig memory setups.
In 2 DIMMs?
In 2 DIMMs, yeah. So it's rather than the 8-bit, 8 gig, 16 gig, 32 gig, right? Now we have 24 gig, 48 and 96.
So the density is getting higher based on these new specifications,
That's right.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of notebooks are limited in space. They made maybe from 1 DIMM. So, and it used to be 8, 16, maybe 32 if you're lucky. Now you're going to be able to add another
48, 96, 24 and so on. So these are the new memory capacities and memory modules that you see over the next couple of months as well. The other thing is speeds. So maximum right now I've tested 7200 speeds. They're hitting 8000, 8004, 8000. So you're getting higher memory speeds as well. So that's something for enthusiasts, things like that. So that's something to look forward to.
So just to kind of reiterate, memory is where things in your programs sit when you open them, right? So having the best possible speeds on your memory actually allows things to move around faster. So let's just say that you have maxed out the number of Chrome tabs. You can't see anymore because you can't read the words. That all sits inside memory. And because
That's
that
right.
sits inside memory, it's fastest when there's enough memory on your system. So by having these higher memory capacities, even for your old, like this is not an old standard. You won't be able to upgrade your DDR3, DDR2. This is like a 10-year-old machine. You won't be able to use these new memory
There's
specs.
DDR5, yeah.
But so DDR5, which is the latest memory standards moving forward, you will be able to utilize this in the mass market.
That's
you
right.
just have to make sure that when you go to the Best Buy, that the person that you're talking to actually knows exactly what you're talking about. If not, if we need to talk about this a little bit further, and you want a podcast on this, maybe we can invite an expert in the industry to kind of dumb it down.
That's
so
right.
that you understand it, because we're talking about a lot of things that come from a show that is basically like the invention show of all this PC stuff. And if we are running away with something that you don't understand, because again, most of the population will not, leave a comment below. We will happily answer that question for you, or someone from the community, or any of the people that we've met from or reacquainted with the show will step into our comments and help you out. These are industry experts.
That's right. And the big thing I've talked about in our last show, pre-COMPUTEX, is AI. So yes, AI.
What's happening?
AI is everywhere now. I went to one booth, and I can't remember which brand it was, vendor, but they had PCB boards that were built for AI. And one of the examples of AI application was, it was in a call center kind of environment where someone would call in, and it would take your voice, recognize all the text to speech, speech to text, and put that into a formula, which the AI will figure out based on your age, your location, and the voice that is being recorded. It will then determine your credit status.
What? Isn't that a little bit racist or ageist? or like that seems wrong.
That's crazy, right?
Right?
It will recognize the voice type. Of course, when you call, they ask you where they'll know your address. They'll your name, your age, and so on. But based on all these factors and text, voice to text, and also translation as well at the same time. So, for example, I could call in Asian languages, and it will translate to English instantly. Instantly, real time now, not just like someone's like translating. It's real time, doing this all real time, and vice versa. Different languages, it will auto kind of like translate and give you an idea what this system, this AI is figuring out what your credit score is.
I know that some people are probably thinking the same thing, but doesn't that seem extremely prejudiced?
It is. I don't know. I mean, it's one of these AI applications. That's why AI is so dangerous, right? If applied to the wrong kind of theme or platform, it could make or destroy.
This sounds wrong.
Career, right?
Like it really does sound wrong.
But they need to really fine tune it and kind of like take all the kinks out, because if applied wrongly, it could be detrimental.
This seems absolutely prejudiced. I don't agree with the way that this is being implemented. And the funny thing is that I think you're telling me this is being pursued by a motherboard manufacturer. Like a traditional motherboard manufacturer that does consumer boards. Like BioStar?
Could be.
Any of them, right?
It's all industrial. There's loads of industrial makers, boards. Because if you think about all these brands, you're the MSI, Geeky, all that kind of stuff. But they also have a industrial side of the business, which they make these type of boards. But it's not just the board, but it's the actual platform and program and the software that whoever is contracted out to do, right? So it's maybe not them, but the software company that's contracted out to do this type of platform. So, but they're using their boards, whatever.
Well, I found out a very interesting story from another former motherboard manufacturer. The company's name is VIA.
VIA, I
VIA.
just call them VIA.
VIA, and they were big back in the day.
They made chipsets for AMD
20 years ago.
Right?
AMD chipsets and everything. Their boards were like if you had a board from any of the big manufacturers, it might have had a VIA option. Well, VIA used to also be the supplier to the original Xbox. They used to actually be inside the original Xbox. The first COMPUTEX I went to, they were very proudly showing off the fact that we're inside the Xbox, guys. We're the only chipset manufacturer. And they kind of fell off the market, right? They just disappeared from the mainstream consumer market for whatever reason. But they are back in kind of the industrial side with some AI technology. There's obviously white collar AI, which is the stuff that's able to judge people based on their accent and their how they speak things, which is I don't agree with that, and that needs to stop. But they are doing something what's called blue collar AI.
What does that do?
So what this does is imagine a forklift running around a warehouse, right?
So industrial applications.
Industrial application. And there's a number of sensors that you can place on the forklift.
Yeah.
But in order for it to be operational and helpful, you have to take away some of that autonomy from the driver, because the driver could be not paying attention to something. They might round the corner too fast, and they might slide into something. This AI called blue collar AI basically steps in. It's kind of like all of the autonomous driving devices inside your car that tell you you're about to back into a wall and stuff like that. This AI steps in to make sure that to not only knows your warehouse, but it knows that you're coming up on the corner a little bit too fast. You'll never make that corner, and it'll make decisions that'll potentially slow it down or warn the driver or do both. So this is stuff that is in industrial warehouses, like maybe less so with Amazon. Amazon may implement this with AI on top of AI, but any of the human type industries where human forklift drivers still need to be part of the equation, this is what's going to happen. And I'm rooting for this type of technology because it can potentially save lives.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, truck drivers, for example, is a good application of this blue collar AI, right? Things like that. I've seen loads of truck accidents on the highway, right? So by implementing some sort of this AI where it will automatically slow down the truck, without and there's like
that's a form of AI. That's autonomous driving assistance. But this is more specifically for industrial applications to control, not control, but to help assist in functions where there is a high number of mistakes. And we've seen the memes on TikTok and on Instagram where the forklift driver drives into a pole for some odd reason, and the whole thing falls over, and the warehouse is destroyed. So this is where it is implementing that technology. This is a very specific application. They're still at the very prototyping stage of this to see what sensors are needed, but it's the positive side of AI, if you will.
Yeah, but also you mentioned something to do with right up your alley. What's that? Like the EV space?
Oh yeah, in the pile of what the heck is going on here, I've seen a number of companies that I associate with consumer products. Like MSI makes motherboards, graphics cards, notebooks, and they do industrial stuff as well too, like industrial motherboards. So they stay in their lane, but they veered off their lane because I saw them creating full implemented level 2 charging solutions for EVs at the show. Like they had a number of them. They were fully connected, still industrial, so maybe it is sort of in their lane, but I've never thought that they would be doing this type of thing. I know that they do power supplies, so they work with companies like that, and they create power supplies, but I didn't realize that they were actually getting into this space. There are other players out there that are way ahead in this game. I wish them well. I wish them luck. I hope they are able to bring something to the market that's good.
I think a lot of these motherboard manufacturers in Taiwan, they don't have they won't sell them as retail, but more OEM. Give it to, like, for example, charge point, right? And what's the other one? Power plug.
EVgo and ChargePoint both work with OEM manufacturers. These are the contract manufacturers like Foxconn, manufacturers for Apple, Lenovo, and stuff like that. So ChargePoint uses Tritium chargers, which is a Australian-based company, and then EVgo works with Delta, which is actually a Taiwanese manufacturer of power supplies. So if you see Delta on something, it's actually really, really high quality. And the same with Tritium, they do really great chargers. But when you actually see Delta on it, this is big time. Yeah.
It could be not just the American market they could be after. It could be the Asian market. There's tons of EVs in Japan and China and stuff like that. So they could make motherboards for OEM, for charging stations for those countries.
I'm glad you brought that up because in China, there's over 1 million EV chargers.
Yeah.
In the U.S. and Canada alone, there's like maybe 117,000. So they are 10 times ahead, and that was just the numbers from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so there's a big market.
There's a big market there. Yeah. They even have chargers that go all the way up to Mount Everest, right to the base station. and and these are Tesla chargers, right?
Right.
Some of them, and some of them are running
Yeah.
are other brands.
All right. So with COMPUTEX, what was your favorite booth? Did you see anything excited? Like,
The booth space was actually a little bit more. It seemed like the booth space here was either really big or you were stuck at the back of the very small booth. But my actual favorite booth, there's three I want to point out. My favorite booth overall was actually the Gigabyte booth.
Right.
We know Gigabyte from a long time ago because they were one of my first partners into the computer space, computer DIY space.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for them to assist me in kind of getting to my first Computex and everything like that, in Taiwan, of course. But their booth was so impressive in the sense that I think that Gigabyte moving into server space, moving into the professional space, this is what it looks like. Is their future.
Right.
Like it was so impressive to see their stacks of servers, all of the solutions and everything like that. And that booth was quite big.
Yeah.
It was a big booth. And then I would say the second one that was actually really kind of vibrant and amazing to me, at least from a nostalgic standpoint, was G-Skill.
G-Skill, yeah, that's right.
And there is a Gigabyte connection because G-Skill's booth reminds me of how Gigabyte's booth used to look about a decade ago. There was a lot of excitement. They had the booth models.
Models, yeah.
They were representing a certain overclocker on the stage.
Yeah.
They were near the mods to take pictures with them, right? This is a very Asian type centric thing that you won't see at CES anymore or any of the North American shows, but that's still here. They celebrate beauty in a slightly different way. And but one of the biggest surprises to me, and even in the space where there's all-in-one cooling,
yeah.
where water cooling is ruling the roost.
Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
The most popular booth from a square footage perspective that I saw was actually our friends over at Noctua.
Oh, you like that? It's just...
It was just a bar.
It's just a...
It was very... it looked
very
like
Noctua.
very bar, very a few people, but there were so many people packed into that booth when I was there.
Yeah.
That there was just such life. Like Jacob couldn't even talk to me half the time. I just had to kind of reach and say, "Hey, Jacob,
Hey.
I'm going to shake your hand and I got to go, but I know you're busy." So he's the rep there. I've known him for a couple decades now almost.
Yeah, that's right.
Since I started in the industry, and he's still there. And he's such a knowledgeable guy. He's a super geek. So anytime you want to talk fans, you want to talk cooling, he's your man.
He's your
for
man.
sure.
He knows
But
everything.
that was very impressive to see that they haven't changed. They're still talking about the NHD15.
That's right. Yeah.
They're still allowing you to change. Like they're still sending out free motherboard plate upgrades.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they do.
So that's why I like about Noctua is that they look after their customers.
They
and
really do.
Community, right? You bought a cooler for the AM4. Oh, no worries. AM5 boards are out. I will give you the AM5 plates.
Yep.
And the same with the Intel, because Intel, so many different types of sockets, right?
Yeah.
So now they have like little plates for those motherboards, and you can actually either purchase them or, if you ask nicely, Jacob will send them out to you. But, they look after your customers. They look
really
after the
do.
community, which I really like.
Yeah, it's a bit of a policy with them as well too, because it's on their website. They also do news releases and press releases to press, letting us know to let you know that they're doing this, so you don't have to throw away that NHD14.
Don't throw it away. They keep using
Yeah.
it because that's really compatible with all of their boards and stuff. With the right plates.
Obviously, the NHD15 is better, but the NHD14, if you still have it, you're still going to be able to use
fine.
it.
Yeah. For me, the booth I think that really gave me some attention was the team group. They had a whole side of just LED kind of panels and showing off their stuff. Which
Now,
is
Team Group is not a North American brand.
they're not.
So what do they do?
They make memory.
Okay, so they're like G-Skill.
G-Skill, memory and stuff like that.
Okay.
Other than that, I think Thermaltake has got their bikes going on there, And,
That was a big booth. That was extremely
lots
big.
of modding there. But the best mod I've seen was from Mike Petrins.
Yes.
We had him on our show, the podcast show, and he had this thing which just it was towering all over the other mods. It is heavy.
Why was it towering over everything?
Because it was huge. It was really high, but solid metal kind of.
Okay.
It just looks gold, black. It's just so classy, right? In fact, even Gamers Nexus actually commented it, and he said, "Wow, this is it,"
Yeah.
And
now, Gamers Nexus, if you don't know, and you probably don't, if you're watching our podcast show, is that Gamers Nexus is a hardware reviewer. He is like a Linus because Linus is Canadian, but he's a little bit more grumpy when it comes to PC hardware and some of their deficits. So if you want a rant on something that may or may not matter to you, you can check out Gamers Nexus and learn a thing or two about that, if it matters to you or not. But you know, he goes a little bit deeper than we should on a lot of things, and you know, it's. I think he does
he loves controversy. So
he likes controversy, but I think it comes from a good place in his heart, and the fact that he was able to take a moment, set it aside, and tell Mike Petrins, who we've interviewed already, and you'll be seeing that podcast special episode coming up soon. So stay tuned for that, and you'll only be able to see that it's come up because you have to subscribe to our channel because it's a YouTube exclusive.
That's right.
Just make sure you subscribe, and that interview will know. Mike Petrins, in case you don't know, he is a modder that was responsible for that build. Now, modding is a huge kind of to North Americans. We don't really know it as a market, but the fact that you're modifying it like a car, like a race car, like a import tuner. He takes it to the next level because all of his inventions, his creations, look like they could be built the next day. So he has a very specific way of building that makes it almost practical, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you get to see and you get to know that person behind the actual project.
He is a cool dude, and I'm not going to give away any more. So behind the shades, for some people that know him, this guy is. It's unlike anything that you could possibly imagine about the guy behind the shades. The personality is big, but the guy behind it is even bigger.
Yeah, you love that guy. Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. So what else were we talking about for COMPUTEX? I think we were talking about how still attendance is a little bit low because it's the first year back because in April 17th, Taiwan lifted their orders for mask usage unless you're in a restaurant setting or whatnot. Taiwan culture still has masks because it's a courtesy, it's a kindness to everyone around you that you're not spitting on things.
That's right. They're doing the same thing with the vouchers. You know, if you've gone to their website, the Taiwanese tourist website, tourism website, you can actually download the QR code. And you could, I would say, I think a prize draw or prize. Yeah, there's a draw with $5,000 $5,000 for.
They want you to come back.
Yeah, they want to come back for tourism and things like that. But again, they already recently opened up their borders, so because of the pandemic and everything, they reopened up. And I think COMPUTEX this year has been okay. Numbers compared to previous COMPUTEX, a little bit less, but still, it had all the excitement of COMPUTEX can bring. And I'm glad that we're here because we get to see all our old friends, reconnect all the connections that we reestablish, all the friendships and stuff like that. So it's a very important place to be for us, especially in tech business. For hopefully next year will be bigger, better.
Yeah.
And another thing I'd like to mention also is I was a bit, saddened to see Cooler Master's booth a bit small this year at Nangan. But wait, we were invited to the Cooler Master head office at Nehu, which is across the river from Nangan, and wow, I was surprised. Now, if I knew what was in store at the Cooler Master's office, when you go in, it's like an art gallery. You know what I'm saying? With all the new stuff. Imagine it had that in Nangan. They would have had the best booth on display.
Their booth was their display was obviously too big to bring out, and they had too many innovations that were just. I would say that they were potentially maybe too fragile for handling by the the public. So by having this kind of private viewing of everything in a controlled space, I think that was a better move because they had a lot to show off.
Yeah, that's right.
Their building, which they call the Creator Building, is actually quite amazing. It looks like if you've ever seen a heatsink, you pop open the side of your case and you look at like a conventional finned heatsink, it kind of looks like that, which for Cooler Master is actually kind of fitting. And this building is actually near where a lot of the TV shows in Taiwan are created. A lot of studios are nearby, and what they do is they like the film industry in Taiwan works completely differently. You don't need permits, you don't need anything. You just basically in the middle of the night set up your entire set, do whatever you need to do, and run away. That's basically what happens. And Cooler Masters building is in many of those shows. They use their cafe, which is the cooler bar.
The cooler bar.
This cooler bar is actually a high-end, kind of a passion project, which we'll explore in our podcast coming up with Jimmy Shaw. He's the CEO of Cooler Master, and he's a very dynamic dude. Like he's a geek like both of us. But even more so, which is why he devoted 30 years of his life to the computer industry. Like the guy still gets excited when he talks about heat sinks and coolers, which is very rare
and
in
also
this industry.
Old products from way back.
He remembers.
The Cooler Master, was it ATCS? He's he gets really excited.
He gets really excited, So I can't wait for you to see that episode drop. And again, like our talk with some of the other people that we've had here, those are coming up in our podcast show. We've got some extras coming up, and you'll be able to see them if you subscribe to our channel, because your notifications will come up. The Jimmy Shaw interview with the CEO is out there. This is a very interesting one. Even if you don't know anything about the computer PC DIY industry, he shares some really great knowledge about branding, about growing a company, and also being a private company in this age where everyone kind of wants to take things public, and also creating products that are genuinely for the consumer, rather than creating a product and forcing it down your throat. So very, very interesting chat that we had with a CEO, which, for our podcast show is actually very, very prestigious, because which other podcast show in the world right now gets to talk to CEOs?
Yeah, I mean, you get to see not just the CEOs, but the company and the brand and everything, but you get to know the person behind all of this. At the end of the day, he's human. We're all human. We make mistakes. I'm sure everyone makes mistakes.
And he loves to cook, so stay tuned for
that. So just know the person behind all of this. He's not just a CEO. He is a person.
So what else were we talking about here? There's some other things that we need to go over that were kind of interesting from the show. What else do you got, Winston?
Apart from all of that, I thought to see the Computex has been pretty decent for this year. It's better than what expected. I came here to do 3 podcasts, right? ASRock, Cougar, Thermaltake. People caught hold of what we were doing, and the news got around, and suddenly we got 10 podcasts, right? From CEOs to people in the leaders in the industry, friends that we haven't seen for many years, including all the ones that we know. So this year's Computex has been superb for us. I think for the podcast show is amazing.
Yeah, it's been a real surprise. Like, given the fact that as of right now we might only have like 330 some odd subscribers, and we love every single one of you, by the way. Thank you so much for that, and also whatever comments that you can throw down this podcast. I think upwards and onwards, we're going to be able to talk to a lot more people that want to share their stories, because when you look behind the product, when you look beyond the product, the people are so interesting in these companies that we've been a part of for the last 20 years ourselves. And there are just so many dynamic personalities that you need to know about, even in women leadership roles. In Taiwan, in the tech industry overall, you don't see a lot of tech CEOs, with the exception of Lisa Su, which is the AMD CEO. She's doing a fantastic job. We also have Mary Barra from GM, who's also leading the EV charge at GM Motors. But down in these companies here, you kind of don't see the women leadership. And we've even had a chance to talk to someone that I would say that she has such a way about her that you want her to lead. You want to put her in charge, and you want to support her. And I can't wait to share with you that story about this leader in the industry. She's kind of shy, but she's also a force to be reckoned with. And I hope that any women in the industry watch this particular podcast, because she's someone to kind of emulate if you're working in Taiwan, and maybe grow from that. She's just incredible. I can't wait for you to see that podcast.
So I think that's all we have for our podcast show this week. I hope you enjoy our content, and of course our Computex coverage. Plenty more to come. Stephen, our socials.
Yeah, don't click off yet, by the way, because I know that as soon as Winston starts saying that, there's a dip in our graph. So Winston, you need to stop doing that. But what we want you to do is continue the conversation with us. We
Yes,
want
definitely.
want you to kind of check out our social media. We actually just picked up a couple new channels here, in case you didn't know, at our podcast show on Twitter and at our podcast show on Instagram, are both of our channels. And we've started sharing some of our moments from Taiwan that you'll never see in any of the podcasts because, well, it's a podcast and it's just kind of us and the guests.
Yeah.
But, the visuals, the reels and everything, those special moments that you don't see anywhere else are going to be on those channels.
That's
and
right.
we'll be populating them over the next few weeks as we get back to Canada.
That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
well, let me explain why I'm a bit of a rush, because we're in a hotel setting. My camera's on a USB, a battery kind of power bank,
Yep.
and everything is like up in the air. So we're limited to time, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
if
So-
the power bank is working a
So
lot.
I think we need to give some props to the staff here at the Place Hotel in Taipei, the Nangang area of
That's right.
Taiwan, where COMPUTEX this year was happening, right? And they've been so accommodating, so amazing. If you're staying anywhere in Taiwan near Nangang, I definitely recommend the Place Hotel. We don't have to give them an endorsement. We just love the fact that this hotel has amazing staff, a great facility, so close to the convention center, and they've let us set
right.
up in their dining room.
And they have a conference next door, which is about to start at 2:00. So that's why
We're pushing this.
Yeah, we're pressured in time, but yeah, we enjoyed the event, and I love to come back for more.
Yeah,
definitely.
so over the next few weeks, we might be offering you 2 podcasts a week until we run out of podcasts from COMPUTEX. And I hope that you're able to share those stories with us in your comments as well, too. I know for a fact that a lot of these people will be looking at the comments. So if any of these subject areas, any of these personalities in the industry interest you in any way, please drop that comment below. They'll probably answer to you, especially if you're an aspiring PC gamer or creator that wants to get into the industry. You're going to learn something new from all of these podcasts that might further your career, especially one that we've got coming up with a very young innovator who is now a leader in the industry. Until next time, until next Wednesday at noon, which is when we release our podcast exclusively on YouTube. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again in the next show.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Bye-bye.